Well, everybody, welcome to the second episode of Animation Station. It has been a while since the first one, but we've been doing a lot of other things, and things have came up. Family always comes first. Since we started with The Simpsons, we thought with Futurama coming back out next week, we thought why not have another Matt Groening show? Joining me today, we have Andrew Dunning. John Toner was supposed to be here, but he got caught up with a lot of other things involving his lowball. Actually ended up having to do two today. So
Yeah.
good luck to him with that. I mean, they've been going great. So
Mm-hmm.
how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. We're doing okay. Like you said, we've been busy like behind the scenes with a lot of stuff lately, like trying to get things done. Toner's Global channel is taking off. Like he's getting loads and loads of people that are, wanting to come on it. And as much as I am happy for him that he's getting that, it's Muggins here that's got to edit the fuckers. So what? Yeah, I'm like Toner, I love you dearly, but calm the hell down, mate. What? It's like I've still got a family I need to see on occasion. They're usually sick of me by this point, but yeah, they still kind of like me. At the
Know with the
moment,
amount of know with the amount of videos he's doing. I mean, how many's that he's done this week? Like 6.
I dread to think he's not sent them through yet. Yeah, he's got a spreadsheet, and when Toner gets a spreadsheet on something, that's when you know, okay, what anybody around him is in trouble. This guy's just like he has a walking Excel document. Right, yeah, you were right that we decided to try and get Futurama on the slate since it's back once again for yet another revival.
Yep.
It just seems to be a bit like 3D or tuberculosis. Like, it just seems to have a
It
thing
just comes back every time.
yeah, it just has a wee spell where it comes back and it's like a flavor of the week, and then it'll start to die down again.
Yeah.
So once again, Kev, like thank you for sourcing the questions for the Futurama revival, because lots to talk about with this one. But
Oh yeah.
one thing I wanted to ask before we jumped into it is, like, if you had to choose to watch Simpsons or Futurama, like what one would you choose?
Futurama.
Same.
Yep.
I think it's because like me and you both like our sci-fi as well.
Yeah.
As much as the Simpsons, like, could embed little bits of, like, with guest appearances here and there. I always liked Futurama, like, because of its sci-fi, and sci-fi always has a habit of, exposing the flaws of humanity, which I always think is great.
Oh yeah. I mean, the thing about The Simpsons is the first, I'd say, like 10 seasons are gold, right?
Mm.
Can't beat them. But then it sort of pans out.
Yeah.
And they done the movie in 2007. That was 10 years far too late. They should have done that in 1997 when the
Yeah.
show was still relatively popular.
Mm.
But it's just dropped and dropped. Whereas Futurama gets the same amount of ratings consistently whenever it comes back.
Mm. Yeah, I think maybe that is a case of it because it constantly gets cancelled. They've
Yeah.
got time to rest and recharge, and
Mm-hmm.
then, like, life moves on, and then it goes round again. And
Yeah.
because it's set so far in the future, they've got plenty of things that they can work on and, like, expand the lore of, which works out in its favor. Whereas Simpsons just never stops. It's just
No.
never stopped. And what it's getting to the stage now where I just think they've got one of the psychic octopuses, like, just predicting all the everything in the future now, and they just write it in the
Oh,
episodes.
I know.
And we touched on that previously in the first episode, what, in the station pilot. So if you haven't watched that, I advise you go and check it out, because, well, it's basically this, but in Simpsons form.
Yeah.
So again, Kev has very kindly sourced questions for us, revolving around the revival of Futurama, kind of similar to what we used to do on Super Geeked. Again, on Kev's channel, Gentle Dorks. If you haven't seen that, go and subscribe and check it out, and you'll get a feel for what we are doing today.
Yeah.
So, Kev, let's dive into the first question.
No problem. Futurama has had a wide range of styles, humour. Its primary source, though, was satirical depictions of everyday life in the future and its periodical comparisons to the present. Do you think that helped Futurama stand out from the rest of the animation at the time?
I personally, I think it hindered it more than anything else. I mean, because we had satirical shows around that time as well. I mean, behind me and some of the ones we've got, like South Park, Family Guy, and Beavis and Butthead, were all around that time.
Mm-hmm.
Like either when any of the times it was cancelled and brought back. So there's always been that type of satirical animation. The only thing that it really had for its advantage was sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
And sci-fi, as much as it's got like a very large following, it still fits into very niche categories.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had a lot of Star Trek guests on
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
They once had like all of the original series actors that were still alive at that point. I think the ones that were past to that point were DeForest and James Doohan, which was
Mm-hmm.
Scotty, which they timed out for Welshie instead,
Yeah,
which was just yeah. I would have just rather that they just kept him mute and had Scotty back
yeah,
like they done with with Bones. What? So there was always like that preference towards Star Trek over Star Wars,
yeah.
which would have alienated some people. What? And sci-fi can be very alienating, ironically. So I think it lost a lot of its audience as a result. So it hindered it a bit. So if they were wanting that type of biting satire, they could have went
Mm-hmm.
to South Park, because South Park was just like, it's kids acting like idiots, but there's a lot of satire and like, you know, real world stuff going on around it.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe the sci-fi element was a hindrance, but for me, I loved it
Mm-hmm.
because I loved how it got to look at elements of life now, or even now as we record this in 2023. Well, there's one thing that they've talked about in one of the episodes, and it was, he said, "What happened to global warming?" He's like, "Oh, that happened, but a nuclear winter wiped it out."
Yeah.
So it's always stuck in my head. And right now we're going through, the big thing about recycling again.
Yep.
And recycling obviously is a big thing. It's like, robots are made of old beer cans made of old robots, sandwich that was made from discarded sandwiches. We are getting to that stage now
Yeah. I
where it
know.
is going to be like that. Like the future is just going to be like, disgusting, which was what he said. So in a way, I just think Matt Groening is a time lord. I think he has been to the future and just went, okay, right, we're just going to come back and sort all this stuff and just we'll put it in. Then everybody will think we're gods. What about you? What did you think?
I think it actually helped it stand out because even though they were like looking at things that were happening now, but from a future standpoint, I think that helped it because they can say, "Oh, we got through that, but then we just jumped into this."
Mm,
Whereas with other things like that, "Oh, we'll get out of this," and then they never go back to it. Whereas in Futurama, they always go back to things and say, "Oh, that's how that happened."
mm.
And
Very true.
there's very little like inconsistencies with
Yeah.
Futurama. Everything's very like, oh, we've got that there and we've got this here. Like on the Facebook page, I put up a thing and it's like Fry having a drink of Slurm,
Mm.
and then it's like, and then in the next one he has another drink. So I'll never go 12 minutes, and it was exactly 12 minutes. If you're just watching it, and it was actually 12 minutes on the dot, and it's like it's just small things like that that made it
mm,
just sort of a you know a lot more fun to watch because it makes you feel that you're part of it. Because then it's
mm,
like, oh wait, was that 12 minutes? And then
mm.
you go and watch it and it was. And then there's
Yeah.
the things in the background. They made their own alphabet and then they changed
Mm.
it every series. So there's like
Yeah.
4 or 5 different alphabets that you have to try and decipher to find out what they are.
Yeah.
And there's the binary codes that they always have throughout the episodes. It's like, oh, that means nothing. And it's like, oh, that means something. And if you look at them, because it makes you go, well, what is that? So you actually go and look it up. So I thought it was like it helped people sort of go, I'm going to look into that, rather
Yeah.
than say like with South Park, you're just there to watch them be stupid
Mm.
and make fart jokes.
Yeah. And
With
especially
Family
like,
Guy, you're there to be stupid and watch fart jokes.
yeah, that's true. Except like the South Park jokes were literally just like on the pulse
Oh yeah,
of what was going on at the time, because it was like a 2 week turnaround before them. But at first I didn't like that with South Park, because I felt like, when I watched previous episodes, like, after X amount of years, I was like, that's not aged too well,
yeah.
because it was too current. But they seem to like been able to get through that and find the kind of right balance where they're
Mm-hmm.
able to kind of keep it timeless, but you can still go, oh yeah, that happened. Damn, we actually got through that as
Yeah,
well. It's like how at the time of this recording, Fallout Boy have done their own version of Billy Joel's "We Didn't Start the Fire." That's covered everything from when that one was recorded up until 2023, and you go, damn, we've lived through a lot of shit since then.
yeah,
As a case of like, stop the world, I want to get off.
yeah.
Uh, I mean, I get what you mean about the Futurama kind of stuff. Like, I think it was because I was watching Futurama at that point, kind of in the same vein as South Park and Family Guy, where it wasn't like, like the latest fart joke of the week, but I was enjoying it kind of. And my camera has decided to be an absolute catch you next Tuesday on me. I don't know what the deal is with it. What, but you can still hear me.
We can still
What,
hear you. That's fine.
that's the main thing. I think it's because like I've been doing radio recently. What, doing doing my community radio, and it's just like, nah, we're not going to bother with this.
Nah,
Let's just have a random screen. What,
you've got a face for radio. I get told that all the time.
that's actually what I'd done. One of the very first kind of jokes that I'd made. I'd said, I've got a voice for podcasting and a face for radio, because someone actually had said that I had a voice for podcasting. I was like, okay, I am going to just go with that. Well, while I try and find another camera that actually works, you can jump into the questions.
Yep. Well, with this being a sci-fi show, do you feel that this added to the appeal of the show, or do you think it's the reason it's been cancelled 4 times?
It was probably the reason that it was cancelled 4 times. I don't think it was, the reason for all the cancellations. Don't get me wrong, but I do think there was reasons behind it, and I think a lot of it was down to, well, probably down to a couple of things. The first thing probably would be, you know, it's not like The Simpsons,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what he was known for.
Yeah.
What? Yay! I've adapted to a
There we
new
go.
Yeah, I put a new camera in, what the toner gave me. So yeah, toner and Spirit has bailed my ass out while I go and curse my other camera. I kept that camera through 3 other webcams. Damn it! But yeah, so I think maybe in the first instance it was more. It's not like The Simpsons.
Mm-hmm.
People were expecting The Simpsons.
In the future.
Yeah, but in the future,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And then it just kind of, but once it started to get its own identity, they were like, all right, well, it's got its own thing, that's fine. And then it's just like, meh, it's just there. It'll be like The Simpsons in the case of that, if we don't watch it, it's still going to keep going.
Yeah.
But it hadn't built up that same kind of head of steam and that same credibility.
Well, with The Simpsons, they've been going since 1989.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, when Futurama came out, that's been 10 years.
It's crazy when you think
And
about
The
it.
Simpsons, so The Simpsons just started to go downhill after that, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's when Matt Groening stopped writing for them and was just an executive producer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was just like,
After series 3 of Futurama, that's when he stopped being part of the writing team. He was just an executive producer.
mm,
And in Futurama, they make a reference that it's been going downhill after season 3 about Hypnotoad.
mm,
And that was an in joke about The Simpsons dropping down when he left as a writer.
Mm.
But because they were at season 4, like that, oh, we'll just say after season 3. And it's like, it's in things like that as well. And personally, I think that the sci-fi element was one of the main reasons that Fox ditched it.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, it's not The Simpsons.
Mm.
The Simpsons was one of their biggest revenues,
Yeah.
and it continued to be one of their biggest revenues until Disney bought them.
Mm. Yeah, very true.
And that is saying something when like a show that was rated at like 98% for the first 10 years, and then it dropped to 68 after
Hmm.
that. And then you're looking at that, and it's like sitting at 68, and that's like the highest it got
Yeah.
after series 10. And
Mm.
it's like, now you're doing that, and it's still their biggest revenue stream.
Mm.
You have to wonder, how did Fox manage to stay afloat for so long?
I think it was Family Guy, probably.
That was probably part of it,
It's true.
because that get cancelled, and then people are like, what you doing?
Yeah.
That was like your best rated show.
Mm.
It was getting more ratings than The Simpsons, triple the ratings of The Simpsons at some points.
Yeah. But then they were like, oh, but we still love The Simpsons.
Yeah,
Do you think Simpsons just kind of got to the stage where it's like, you know how when they shut a listed building and
and
they
they just leave
can't,
it there.
yeah, because they can't demolish it because it's a listed building. Do you think The Simpsons is like the listed buildings of animated TV shows?
It is, and the fact that it's Disney that own it now, they're going to they're going to drain the barrel.
Yeah, they are going to milk that cow until there is nothing left, and
Yep.
even then they'll still keep trying.
Well, look what they've done with Star Wars.
Oh yeah, Star Wars, what and even now Marvel in a way. Well, they're kind of
Yeah,
getting their mitts on that, and I'm kind of glad I bailed out when it got to multiverse angle. I just had a bad feeling, and
I
yeah,
mean, at least with Marvel, they have somebody overseeing that who does fight with Disney a lot. Disney don't have much studio interference
mm,
with the Marvel stuff, although he's vying for a job at Disney, a top job. So
mm,
you can start to see it's like he's like, "Ah, right, I'll do that then," and he's
yeah,
pushing for things like that. So you can see it starting to come in. It's all politics. That's
oh
all
yeah,
that is.
yeah,
And
definitely,
you know, I still watch the Marvel films. I still enjoy them.
mm,
There's been ones that I haven't enjoyed as much as the other ones,
yeah,
as we've heard, and I'm going to go into that in a later video on Gentle Dorks. We've had your analysis of Phase 1
yeah.
and Agents of Shield.
Phase one, two, and three, what, and
Oh
Agents of
yeah,
Shield,
aye.
what, and Agents of Shield series one, and also why I bailed out as it
Yeah.
got to phase four. What, it was just the multiverse stuff for me. What, it always seems
Mhm.
when they finally go into that part that it always seems to just tank when it gets that multiverse type of angle. What,
I
some,
was worried. I was worried that it was going to do things like that,
yeah,
and then
there's
I've been watching them, and luckily it's not. It's actually sort of come back up from where
mm,
Phase 4 took it, because Phase 4 did sort of drop big time for me.
yeah,
It's been the weakest out of them all,
mm,
but I'm
yeah,
glad that it's sort of coming back up now.
yeah. Which is ironic because phase two was my weakest out of the Infinity War saga. Phase two was my
Mhm.
weakest because it just felt like they were kind of in that, right? We're just trying to get ourselves back in line. Let's see how we go and what happens. And
Yeah.
then phase three just ramped right through. But again, that's for Gentle Dorks. We are on Animation Station.
Yep.
And yeah, I think, like I said, I think the sci-fi element was a hindrance at the start because you're instantly limiting your market.
Yeah.
Well, because people will just be like, "Oh, that's just for we dorks or we nerds." And
Yeah.
at that time, sci-fi was popular, but not as popular as it is now.
Mhm.
We weren't as accepted back then as we are now. A lot of that
Yeah.
had to do with things like Big Bang Theory and stuff coming into the mainstream and bringing that out. Going, yeah, they're not just sad dorks. Okay,
Yeah.
they are, but they're gentle. They're okay.
Now, controversial thought here, right? I have never seen Big Bang Theory. I could not get into it.
I understand that. I do understand it. Like, it's like me with Doctor Who. I just can't get
Hmm.
into it. It has everything I should like, but I've tried. It just didn't work. It just hasn't worked. Big Bang Theory, I watched start to finish. What it took me till I got to season 5 before I actually started watching it
Hmm.
because my mates were like, "Oh, you should really get into this," and I started watching it, and that was when they bailed out, and I'm like, "You sons of bitches! Now I've got nobody to talk to about it." But I do feel bad because I got my wife into Big Bang Theory at season 6 because she was like, "Oh, I don't know if I like this," and then she became as hooked as I did. So at least it was something that we could both kind of like, enjoy. She related to the girls' side of it, and I related to
Hmm.
the guys' side of it.
It's
But
just something. It's something I've never been able to get into. I've tried a few times. It's like, no. I see
yeah,
clips in that, and I just skip by them. So I don't find it funny. I just can't.
yeah.
It was like the Office as well.
Oh no, I
I'd
never got
never
into
get
that.
into the Office.
I watched the first
I, I
two.
love I love Ricky Gervais's David Brent,
Mm,
but the Office I just couldn't get into.
watched not the American one. I watched the British one. Well,
Hmm.
I just was like, nah, I just don't see it. British one had its own kind of charm, which you just couldn't watch it now.
Yeah,
Well, it's just whoa, the way everything's changed. Well, but the American one, I just couldn't. I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know what it was. Just something that just didn't sit
and
right with me.
it's weird because like each of the individual cast members, they're all fantastic actors.
Yes, yes, well,
I watch
absolutely.
other things that all of them are in,
Yep,
like
yep.
Mackenzie Crook's done
Mm,
Detectorists with Toby Jones. Love that
mm,
show. It's a
yeah,
show about them being detectorists, and literally it's just everyday life, except
mm,
they've got this hobby and that's it. But
yeah,
it's fantastic.
yeah. And again, like guys like Steve Carell and obviously, you know, the guy that was missing the tooth in the Hangover trilogy. What
Yeah,
there's like they were all great. They're all great actors in their own rights. Like
yeah.
just couldn't get in it. But again, it's just something that we don't know what it was. But again, a lot of people felt like that about Futurama as well.
Yeah,
Because
I was just going to say that. I knew a lot of people, and like, I just don't like it. But
yeah,
now they've went back and they've watched it, and they're like, oh, I love this. I was like, I told you
yeah.
20 years ago to go watch it.
I think a lot of people thought, it's just another kiddies cartoon.
Yeah.
But it's the same kind of thing that I go through with people, about Thomas the Tank Engine when they're
Yeah.
like, "How could you like that? It's for babies." And I'm like, uh, not really. It's a baby show. What almost kill off like two or three of their main characters in one season.
Yep.
What, which I basically called the Die Hard season because it just felt like they were just going to kill everything.
Oh,
But
don't mention Die Hard. That's on my list.
the Die Hards. Mm.
Yeah. They're on my
Uh,
list.
yep,
They,
they've
they,
got to
they're
be.
after they're after RoboCop.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
I've still got two Rambos to watch. I've been putting it off. So I can't. I can't. I'm taking a break. I'm taking a
Yeah,
break.
yeah, I'm the same. Like I just got through the hit era of Thomas and Friends, and now we're moving on to the Shannon Miller era, and this is when the writing gets really bad. There's a lot of rhyming speak. This is when it was really marketed for babies,
Yeah.
toddlers, young kids, and I think I watched like 5 episodes of season 13, and my brain just went, "What are you doing to me?
Uh,
What? Like put on something cultural, put on something that's not this." And I'm like, I need to do this for the fans of my channel. So we go through a lot for you guys, gals, it's theys, thems, toasters. We go through a lot of
yeah.
pain for this. So
Yeah.
you're welcome. Yeah, let's move on to the next question about happier things like Futurama,
Yeah.
like before our brain cells decay.
With the Hulu revival about to drop, and we know it's 20 episode run, do you think this is the last we'll see of Futurama? Or will this help a new generation enjoy the show?
I think it should help a new generation enjoy the show because they'll have new content.
Mhm.
What whether it's going to spark a renaissance for it, I don't know. because this thing just doesn't die. Like, even when you think it's meant to die, it doesn't die.
Yeah.
Every time it's finished or been cancelled and ended, it's always ended on a good note.
Yeah.
Actually, its first cancellation, it stuck the landing.
Yep.
Its second cancellation, stuck the landing. Because I think it was what, 4 cancellations?
Yeah. Because it was the first 4 series,
Yeah,
then it was the films,
yeah,
then there was another 2 series, and it get cancelled in between them.
yep.
It was cancelled, and then people are you cannot cancel that.
Mm-hmm.
So like, after like 6 weeks, they're like, right, on you go, continue.
Mm. Yeah, I would say that was the only one because that was like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
It's like just give it a proper what, because every time it's been cancelled up to that point, it was sticking the landing. It's like, just don't
Yep.
cancel halfway through. Just get it done.
Yep.
And then they cancelled it and it got the ending. And that to me felt like the definitive one. If I had to pick out the 3, that was the definitive one where I could have been like,
Yeah.
okay, I get it. And it was very meta as well, because the way they ended it, it was basically encouraging you to go back to the start and watch it again
Yeah.
and carry on through. So I was quite satisfied with that one. I was really satisfied with him sticking that landing. And thought
Yep.
that's a good way to go out. It's quite meta, but it's also really inventive.
Mm-hmm.
Quite good, quite cool. So in a way, I'm a little bit worried about it coming back because there's only so many times that you can stick a landing.
I know.
So, but if there's if there's one team that can do it, it's these guys.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
I
I've
will.
been when you
There's
got
a. No, I was just gonna say it's very appropriate that it's coming back around the time, as at the time of this recording we are filming and the strikes are on, the writer strike and the actors guild strike,
yep,
and it almost did.
solidarity.
Definitely. Well, even though technically I seen a thing saying that, if we're doing content about this type of stuff, we're crossing the picket line. And I'm like, no, because we don't make any money
No.
off this channel. Get up, you.
Nope.
Well, we are free. We're
And
technically,
also we're like that. Good on them.
yeah,
As ex actors, we know
yeah. We've been in, we've been
what it's
on,
like. Yeah.
we've been on those sides. We know how bad it is. We
Yeah.
know how much you can get screwed for this. So, fair play to them. Well,
Yep.
I totally understand that. I respect it. But I do think it's very ironic that it's coming out around this time because John DiMaggio played Bender. Originally wasn't going to come back because he's like,
Yep.
no, you're not paying me what I'm worth. Pay me what
Yeah.
I'm worth and I'll come back. And they're like, okay, we're just not going to pay you. So when it got leaked, yeah, he's not coming back. Everybody went nuts. They're like, don't bring it back. Don't bring it
Yep.
back because we need, it's not the same. It won't be the same. It's not the same
Mm-hmm.
guys. So they buckled and went, okay, right, we'll pay you what you're worth. What?
He didn't
And that,
actually get a pay rise. It was like it was for like the whole cast. He's like,
yeah,
yeah, we're not. It's like you're paying us the rates that we were getting in 2004.
yeah,
He's like, this is like 20 years later, and you're wanting
yeah,
us to work for that. It's like you try and buy something with what we were getting then.
exactly. Times have changed.
He's like, back then I was still struggling.
Mm-hmm.
I had one of the most recognizable voices in animation,
Still
not just
does.
Futurama,
Yeah,
in animation. And he's like, and I was struggling,
mm,
and you're wanting me to come back to one of your most popular shows at the same rate 20 years ago? No.
exactly.
So they buckled and they started to pay all of them at a
Yeah,
higher rate. So it's like, yeah, good on them.
yeah. And they should have.
Yep.
And again, think about how much has changed just in the last couple of years at the time of this recording. What and how expensive things have gotten.
I know.
What you couldn't buy anything really with what you would get paid in the wage 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Just wouldn't happen.
I know.
So and I do also find that brilliant that again at the time of this recording, Barbie is just dropped in cinemas and nobody's going to see it because of all the strikes. I'm just like,
I know.
yes. Conspiracy theories are abound. They're like that. This was planned. This was planned. And also the
I
fact that
know.
Oppenheimer's out as well. A film about a bomb, and the box office is essentially getting bombed by all these strikes. Again, I was just like, nice little bits of conspiracy theories going on. But I do feel bad for Oppenheimer though, because apparently that has gotten rave reviews, and Barbie's just, well, it's Barbie.
I know.
I can't say much because Mattel owns Thomas as well. And I was like, if Barbie does well, it could get Thomas back in the way that we want it. But if they don't turn up for Barbie, then we're screwed. But we'll see what happens. It's
So
just, it's what,
basically, what you're saying is, come on, Barbie, let's go party.
yes. I was waiting for that. I was waiting for a good Barbie joke.
Well, on that note, we'll move on to the last question. With this being a gateway series on Hulu, if it's not successful as they expect it to be, should they leave it and let shows like The Orville have another series?
I think regardless, the Orville should have another series.
Oh, aye.
Regardless, that show deserves another series. Like that is in the rich vein of form, and I don't want that to stop.
Yeah.
I don't think that the success or lack of success of Futurama's revival should impact on that. I would understand why, because they'd be like, people weren't interested in sci-fi, but I call BS on that one majorly.
Yeah.
And my reservation is if they go, nah, we aren't getting the ratings, let's cancel it. Will they be able to stick the landing again?
Yeah.
That's the thing that I'm majorly worrying about. I think just because I really did love their final ending.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I gave my reasons behind it. What and I didn't know how you could go back to that really. It seemed perfect to me.
Mm-hmm.
I gave it that kind of, that circle of life kind of thing. No beginning or end. Like it rounded
Yeah.
it came full circle. I was okay with that. And it just felt like, okay, they've clearly got other stories to tell. Fair
Yeah.
dues. But how are they going to get around it? Because they essentially have to break that cycle
Mm-hmm.
that they had themselves in. Unless they just totally just disregard it and go like, this is like a new timeline or whatever, or it's a splinter timeline or whatever.
Yeah.
Sci-fi can do that. I just worry that
Yep.
it's got that. I just worry about it. I don't deny that the chemistry's still there. They wouldn't have brought it back if there wasn't a reason for it.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes. I just let them do it until they feel like they can
That's it.
stop.
Yeah.
What and then
Aye.
just go right, we are done, we are out. Because again, like the cast themselves, like Katie Segal, like, or Seagull, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Peggy.
Yeah.
But from my result, she's had a brilliant career, like voiceover work and live action. Like she doesn't need to come back. Like she's literally married to the guy that wrote Sons of Anarchy.
Yep.
Like so, her tickets, punched. She's sorted. Like Billy West, like he gets a ton of acting work in the voiceover scenes. Like
Yeah.
so, John DiMaggio, same one of the most recognizable voices out there. Like so, they wouldn't be short of work.
Yeah.
I just want, but in a way, it does make me worry that they're just not going to pay them what they're due if it doesn't work out the way it wants to work out. And I really just hope that it does.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you think?
Um. Well, like yourself, I hope that if it does get cancelled, they stick the landing and then they just leave it,
Mm-hmm.
because the whole waiting years and years and then it coming back. I mean, the cast aren't getting any younger,
Yeah,
so they're going to say, "Oh, right, it's cancelled," and then like 5 years down the line, like, "Oh, let's get everybody back." And touch wood that 2 or 3 members of the cast could be dead by then,
yeah,
and then it's like, "Oh, what do we do? Do we get in other people to like
yeah,
impersonate them? Is that
yeah.
it? Won't be the same."
I know. And they're also talking about this whole AI thing,
Yeah.
which is the reason why people are striking in the first place.
Yep.
And if it doesn't go well in that sense, they could do that. They could be
Mm-hmm.
like, right, okay, we've got past footage, we've got past, voiceover work that they've done. We can stitch things together. We're all good. They would
Yeah.
essentially do what they did with Chef in South Park.
Yeah. I was going to say that it'll be like Chef in South Park when they brought him back, and it was
Yeah.
just clips
Hmm.
of things that he'd said,
Yeah.
getting sentences that don't make sense to anything that's happening.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
the reason they done that is because of why he left.
yeah,
But
why he left,
yeah,
allegedly.
yeah,
Eh, well, but I think you know what they always say about Simpsons predicted the future. When we talk about Futurama, South Park got its one AI technology from
yeah.
like taking clips of old voice notes and using that. So they've predicted that. The one thing we didn't want them to predict, and they've predicted it. You
You know,
gets. Ugh. Could you stick with just Slayton Bormanism? That was fine. You've made a living out of it. You won a
no,
Tony. Just enjoy that.
they
Ugh.
they had to go for Scientology. They
They
had
had
to.
to. Yeah, they'll still go for it. They've got
Oh
to.
yeah,
Well, I'm surprised there isn't a Scientology musical being made by them yet.
there
Or there probably
probably
has.
is,
Yeah,
but
there
they're in
probably is.
court trying to fight it.
Yeah. Cause I guarantee that would be like that would be the hit that, L. Ron Hubbard's movie with John Travolta tried to be. I do feel so bad for John Travolta.
Except good.
Yeah. I feel bad for John Travolta. I really do.
Yeah, I'm not putting that on my list. I've watched it once. That's it.
I've not watched it like deliberately because I
I
was
watched it
like
just because it's like I need to see this.
morbid
I have to.
curiosity.
Exactly. And it's
Mm.
like I was not surprised by it at all.
I think that's what we should do. Let's see if see when we need to do like fundraising, which we inevitably will do. That could be one of the things, like put money towards me watching Battlefield Earth. What and make me
Oh no,
sit
no, no.
and
I'm putting money for you to watch Terrifier 1 and 2.
either way. You'd either watch me like want to shoot myself from watching that sci-fi film, or two horror films. That will just that would probably break me.
Yep. Oh, I've seen like clips of the. I've not actually watched them myself. It's like, ah, God, I don't know if I can watch these.
Yeah, I
And
remember
you know what
going.
I'm like with horrors. You know what I'm like with
Yeah,
horrors. I'll sit and watch anything, but I've seen the clips. It's like, oof, that may be a bit too much for me.
yeah, it's something that I've never been a horror guy. We established this, but people will want to see me suffer, and if we can make some money out of it, then we might as well.
Better for
But
us.
yeah, better for us, better for the content, better for other channels that fall under the umbrella, as they
Yep.
say. But I am worried about Futurama in that sense. I'm worried
Yeah.
because there is so many things that could go wrong. What the AI thing is one of them.
Yeah.
Not sticking the landing is the main one, and just tarnishing the legacy that they've already built.
Yeah.
I think like each time they brought it back, there was a dip in quality. There wasn't
Hmm.
much. Well, I will definitely say that there was not much of a dip, but there was a noticeable dip.
Yeah.
You could always tell when you were watching, like the first go round, and or you were watching like the movies, or you were watching pre the halfway cancellation to the post cancellation. You could
Mm.
just tell there was points where it was like, like you're skating on thin ice.
Yeah.
But I mean, I still enjoyed it. I still thoroughly enjoyed all of Futurama.
Yeah.
I think it was great. I still do. I just there's only so long that you can roll that dice.
Yeah.
And I
It's
know if the studio's going, come back, we'll give you money. And they
mhm.
go, no, you're not getting us the right amount of money. And they go, okay, we'll give you the right amount of money. Then there is only so much you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just a little bit worried. But I really,
I
really
mean,
hope, like with everything else, I hope I'm proven wrong.
I know. The same. It's like with The Simpsons. That's been going since 1989.
Mm-hmm.
I was born in 83.
I know I was 87
So like,
and it's still going.
I remember watching the first episode. I remember watching it, and then I remember watching it up until a point, and then it's like, uh,
Yeah. I
it's
remember
just
the first time I was
I
banned from
stopped
watching it.
I just stopped caring about it.
Yeah.
And it's like it's the same thing with like Family Guy.
Hmm.
I've petered off for that
Oh yeah.
because it's it's just like a string
Mm.
of bits rather than what it used to be. There was like wee bits here and there, but there was like an overall arching story of each episode.
Yep.
But now it's just a string of bits to
And
like make an
again,
episode.
Seth MacFarlane doesn't have as much input in that anymore
Yeah,
because he was off
and
making these movies.
I
He was off making the Orville.
yeah, and I've seen American Dad as well, and it started to do the same.
Yeah, yeah. I was a big fan of American Dad. I was more of a fan of American Dad than I was a Family Guy.
Same.
I really enjoyed.
I loved Family Guy just because of the randomness that would happen.
Yeah,
It was like The Simpsons on crack.
pretty much. It's like I liked American Dad because it was something that was just totally unexpected.
Hmm.
What I liked that it didn't have cutaways. I liked that it was more story driven. I liked that there was a slight continuity as well.
Yeah.
They had continuity for a while, and I was like, this is unusual for an animated show
Hmm.
to actually kind of stick to, like it's established kind of thing. I loved the Christmas specials because they were always just they got more and more insane.
Yeah.
Those were the only ones that were they had their own continuity.
Yeah.
They'd always
They were
been
like a separate universe
yeah,
on their own.
but they were always nuts. They were always nuts,
Yeah.
but a consistent level of nuts.
Hmm.
And I was like, I'm okay with this. This is fine. But and then it just started. It just had the same trope as all the others. Like it's been on too long. They're just
Yeah.
rehashing what just you can't say there isn't really a lack of effort. It's just they're on autopilot.
Yeah. I mean, when something gets to like the amount of series they've got,
Yeah,
it's like, where can they go?
yeah,
Like Bob's Burgers, they're at like season 13 now or something.
some of that. Yeah,
And it's like after like series 5 or 6, you could see the repetitiveness coming through from like other episodes earlier on. Uh,
yeah.
I've still
Archer
not
as
seen
well.
like, yeah, I stopped watching, see when it was like he was in the coma and it was like the dream
Yeah,
sequence episodes. Can't watch them. I tried, and
that was
it's
when
not until it came out of the coma that I've started to watch them again.
I hadn't even seen to that point where he came out of it. But I got to just as they got he was in his space part, like he's like like the alien kind of part of his coma.
Yeah,
And I kind of gave up at that point because I was like, right, the guy who plays Woodhouse dead, and then the actress who plays his mum passed away, and I'm like,
yeah,
okay, and they're still carrying on. Like, yeah,
yeah.
that's the thing. Like with the Simpsons as well, I'm like when a lot of your kind of lead-ish characters start dying,
What you gonna do?
like just stop.
Yeah,
Like that's the whole point. And instead they were just like, okay, we'll just write out the character, and we'll write out this character, and we'll write out this one. And I'm like, come on, just you're better than that. Or should we say that like Sly Stallone? You're better than that. But yeah,
well, like you were saying with the Simpsons, like a lot of the like actors are really really old.
yeah.
I mean, what's
I mean, Dan
Ju-
Castellaneta, who voices Homer, like he's got to
yeah,
be. I mean, he looked.
he's like I think he's in his like 60s,
Yeah,
but
he looked about 50 when he was in
he,
1989.
he says he's always looked like that. It's
Yeah,
like he left high school and he looked like he was in his 50s. He's like, after
yeah,
I walked into a managerial job because people were like, oh, you're 50, on you go.
yeah.
But
Nancy
it's like,
Cartwright has spent like
yeah.
she spent like 40 years voicing a 10-year-old.
Mhm. Then there's Julie Kavanaugh who voices Marge. You can
Mm-hmm.
hear how
Yeah,
old she. I mean, she's like 72.
yeah, like her, like because she already had like the tiredness in her voice, and that was why she
Yeah,
got the part. But it's getting more and more and more tired. Well,
yeah.
and then again, the actress who voices Lisa Simpson,
Mm-hmm.
she made an appearance in the big,
Yardley Smith.
yeah, she made an appearance in the Big Bang Theory. Ironically, as we were talking about it, well, and it was just that way. I just looked at, I'm like, I think that's, and then section spoke, I'm like, that's fucking Lisa Simpson. And I remember watching it with some of my mates, and they were like, that's no what that voices Lisa Simpson. I thought it was a guy that voiced Lisa, and I'm like, no. I'm like, you're getting confused with Bart. What? It's like, like, no, no, no. I'm like, okay, paused it. What? Just before she starts speaking, I'm like, guys, close your eyes and hit play. They're like,
Aye.
that's fucking Lisa Simpson. I'm like, bloody tell you. I'm like,
And what
get off the
she
venom
must.
and just and listen to me. Listen to the sober one in the room. Ugh.
I mean, she must be like pushing 60 as well.
Yeah, pretty much. I would say. I don't like speculating on ages because everybody goes to me like, like, oh, you're what, like, you're 30, and I'm like, close.
Well, I've just turned 40.
Yeah, the same way. I also like, obviously she's just turned 40, and well, she's on the other side of the 40 mark. But everybody thinks she's younger than me, and I'm like, yeah, that just works out for her. But then again, I shave all this off. Everybody thinks I'm a lot younger than I am. To the point where Alison was like, just keep it because I feel dodgy. Like, thanks,
I mean,
man.
it's been a while since I've shaved it all off. I mean, I've got the Jim the Anvil Neinhardt going on here.
Hey, in fairness, that's no bad. It's no bad.
I'm going to
It's
have
when
to get all this bit away so that I can actually do it properly.
Yeah, it's when like I used to be able to go like to a 1 and you can still see like a good shaving. Now it's like a 2 and you can see all the patches. I know the lighting doesn't exactly help, but I'm like, bloody hell, man. But I was like, that's because you stopped getting haircuts and start doing it yourself. And I'm like, I don't have the money. So if I can save that bit of money
Well,
so you can get your haircut,
uh,
and
there
there we go. You're my hair transplant.
you
Done.
go. I'll,
There
I'll
we
I'll shave that bit off, and you can just have that.
that could be a fundraising idea. You shave like you cut off your ponytail.
Oh, I've been told naughty. My daughter's like, nah, I can cut that much off. She's like, you can cut that much off, and that's it. Like, okay.
I know my boys always get scared when I cut my hair because they think it's gonna like I'm gonna turn it into somebody else, and I'm like, no, guys, like it's still me, still me. I'm just with a lot less hair. But yeah, it's always fun,
I
and
mean,
that's
that's been like since 2019.
wow,
I've not had a haircut, and
no
it's
bad.
it's, it's not that long.
It's all right. It's okay. Well, like I say, when the pandemic hit, that was when like I completely shaved my head. That was my Britney Spears moment. Well, I went total baldy, like everywhere, like, and I hadn't told Alison, and she came home, and yeah, I slept on the couch for 3 days. She was not happy with that.
Oh,
Yeah, that's one of the things that, like, animated stuff doesn't need to worry about. Like, they get to stay the same age all the
yep,
time. Well, we've just got to deal with all this. But I always said that to people with animated stuff. I'm like, how long can someone play a 10-year-old boy before they go, no, I've had enough of this?
yeah,
And obviously, like Nancy Cartwright, she's made her living out of it. She wrote a book about it. Like, my
yeah.
life as a 10-year-old boy.
I mean, that's been 34 years
I know.
consistently.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Simpsons has took up 6 months of their life every year since 1989.
I know. It's unreal. It's probably lasted longer than most of their marriages or partners or, whatever way they swing. Doesn't matter to me. It was
Yeah,
being like, many of the probably the most significant relationships that they have in their lives, The Simpsons has outlasted.
yeah,
If you look at that for a lot of things and for a lot of audiences, it's the most consistent thing in people's lives.
yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously I've still got my parents around, so yeah. And like I'm very lucky that way. I've still got a lot of my family around, so I still have that consistency. But you know what I mean? Like a lot of people they'll be like, right, I've lost dink, 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 especially over the pandemic years, but The Simpsons has always
Yeah.
stayed.
hmm
What at least with Futurama, you could be like, okay, in the space of time between this cancellation and this cancellation, I lost dink, dink, dink. And
Aye.
then between this cancellation and this one, I lost dink, dink, dink. Yeah. But Bender was always
Well,
Bender.
in the cancellation between the last series there and this one, I've lost two cousins.
What the hell?
Yep. I'm no longer the youngest cousin.
Wow.
I was
Well,
the
that's it.
second youngest,
Mm,
and now I'm the youngest.
At first, I was never I was always the second oldest. Well, and that's the way that has remained until Daniel decides, nah, I've had enough. But that was something as well that I always found with Futurama. It had a lot more serious episodes than it
Hmm.
did comedy. The Simpsons was so used to being like a kind of comedy animated series that when it hit you
Hmm.
with a serious one, it really got you.
Yeah.
Like one with Homer's mum, but the first one with Homer's mum.
Yeah.
I still cannot watch that episode
Hmm.
because I'm like, I'm going to burst into tears. But at the same time, I'm the same with Fry's dog. That ending scene broke me.
Yeah.
It,
We're not allowed to watch that episode.
no.
We put Futurama on at night as we're going to bed. Just put it
Mhm.
on. We've been watching it continuously
Yeah.
since we've moved in together, and it's like right.
Yeah, just skip
And
past
it
it.
gets to that episode, and that can't you watch that.
Yeah. I can't.
We can't watch the Deep South either because it's like God, no, this one.
Ah, true.
And then there's Mobius Dick and like one of the later series. I can't watch that.
Yeah.
That's the
It's,
only three. No,
mm,
we don't watch the Cryonic Woman either.
mm, true. Now, what's the one where is it this the seven leaf clover?
Aye,
That one, that always breaks me as well. I'm like, just for the ending, I'm like, oh, is that was one where just all through it, you're like, this guy's a dick, and then just right at the end, it's like, kaboom. Like, okay,
yeah.
yeah. Not
I mean,
often that,
I I think episodes like that helped open the door for shows like animated shows that were a bit more serious, like BoJack.
yeah, I would
I
say
mean
so.
that just hits you. It's
Mm,
like you're watching it. It's a stupid cartoon about a horse,
yeah, but it's
and
just
that
nuts.
and it's like, oh my god.
Hmm.
So there's so many episodes. It's like, oh my god, just hits you.
Yeah, it's like the Futurama episode where they kept going forwards in time,
Hmm.
well, and basically right to the end of the world. And I was genuinely like, oh my god, this is it. Is this how they're actually going to go out
Yeah.
with this? And I was like, because in a strange way, I'd be all right with it. It's a weird note, and then they go so far forward that basically they just
It all
go.
starts again.
It all starts again. And they're like, okay, let's just keep going forward till we catch it. Damn, we overshot it. Just round again. I'm like,
Uh, oh,
oh,
this universe seems to be 10 feet higher. Paradox solved.
yep, that was
I
it.
love how at the end of the episode you get Fry and Leela on the bridge, Bender burying the old bodies. Like there.
Yeah. Oh man. That was the thing that like the last finale,
Mm-hmm.
like I thought it was like an interesting premise because he's just constantly stuck in that loop where he's gonna fall.
Mm-hmm.
Man, basically like every time he's just gonna die. And then somehow he manages just to get to the stop and they just live out their lives in just this one wee singular bit. And then he just
Yeah.
comes around and is like, okay, yeah, we have to just kind of go round again. We're just stuck in the loop of
Yeah.
going through the entire Futurama season.
Yeah.
Again, I thought it was a good ending. So I'll be interested to see if someone else just comes up behind Farnsworth at that point and just goes flip and goes, okay, we found a way out. It's been a while. Right. Now you can just start again.
Mm-hmm.
Fling. I know, but it's just like the random kicker of it just resets everything and and finally they'll have to go through all the get back together again stuff.
Yeah.
I know the amount of times they broke up and got back together, but was never actually said that they broke up and got back together was unreal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we were dating? What?
Yep, it's like you dumped me when you forgot when you forgot about blah blah blah. And I'm like, wait, when did they go out? I'm like, it looked like they got together at this point, and then it looked like they broke, and then they must have went out and broke up in between. Then they went out again here, and he's like, we're just so on again, off again. I'm like, when were you guys on?
Well, they did get married, remember?
Divorce is
Twice.
final. What?
Twice.
Yeah, I felt that was one that was a wee kind of gut punch. Like he literally just moves the stars around to like tell her that he loves her. Then they blow up the stars. Well, and it's just like, did you see that? What? Nothing.
Nothing.
I'm like, gets. But then again, what would you say is your worst episode of Futurama?
I'd I'd probably say Mobius Dick.
Mm,
I just don't like it.
yeah. What was the one, the Titanic one?
Oh, that was season 2, I think.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that one. I don't know. I just didn't. Just wasn't
Oh
a.
no, wait, no, it was season 1.
Here's the. That's the only bit I liked at the end was like, he got the bracelet. Bender got the bracelet off. He's like, I always got this to remember by. What's it worth? It's fake.
Fake man.
No.
The bit I loved about that is Bender's like, "Do you think she could be alive in like another universe?" He's in the first like, "Yes." Then he turns to Zoidberg's like, "Not a chance." And Zoidberg's just like,
Yep. Zoidberg was an underrated character, I gotta
"Oh,
say. It always made me feel better because no matter how bad your life got, you knew Zoidberg's was worse.
yep,
And that was just the way it went.
Zoidberg."
I would just always just run up people and go, what? I used to have that because I also my star signs cancer as well, which is the crab. I
Yeah.
could just walk up like that, pretending it was Zoidberg. I think that was the best part when they parodied the Star Trek combat one.
Mm,
Right, and he just cuts off Rye's arm and he starts beating him. He's like, "You bastard!" He's
I
like,
know.
"So you have to choose between a life without sex and death." Yes, it's a tough
Tough
call.
call.
Mm.
That is.
Yeah. Up to that point, I was just like, death because at that point I was a virgin, so I didn't know any better, and now I really know it's a tough call. Yeah, but yeah. What's it? But then at the same point, it's like, what was your best episode? Because there's so many top tier ones.
And I don't think I can pick a favorite episode.
Mine's is the Star Trek one.
Mm,
Star Trek one for me is definitely that. That was something that, like, see when Leonard Nimoy passed away, I
mm,
had like a wee kind of binge of watching Leonard Nimoy specific things. So I watched Star Trek 2 Wrath of Khan. I watched the Big Bang Theory episode where Leonard Nimoy did his voiceover in it. And I watched that Futurama episode.
mm.
Like, they were my things to honor Leonard Nimoy. But I
I mean,
left Wrath of Khan till last because and then I started crying, going like, "Someone create Genesis, not the band."
I mean, I think I like what is the H word?
Yes.
And it's like, wait, we're the invading force? It's like, yeah.
Yeah. It's like
And then they put a bomb in Bender's like, yeah. It's when he says ass, the bomb will go off. It's like, we don't have much time.
yeah. I just thought that was brilliant. And then he's
Oh,
just trying to figure out what the word is because they reprogram. He's like, Bender, stop trying to destroy the earth. What? And he's going
so,
through it and going
please,
through.
sorry,
And then it's just, why? It's just some random word at the end. And then all of a sudden it's just like, kaboom.
antiquing. Give him.
Yep. That was the
I'm
word.
okay.
Oh, man. There were so many great things.
I know.
What was basically the planet of like the they're essentially the in betweeners. Like they never made like a clear decision. I always remember the all I know is my gut says maybe.
Mm,
I still say that to people. Well, and the worst part is people don't get the reference. And I'm
yeah.
like, how dare you? And it's like if I go on stage for a comedy thing and I think I'm going to bomb it, and I go like, if I don't survive, tell my wife hello.
Hello.
It was just that point. I was like, this is just brilliant.
I know. We use Futurama quotes all the time.
Oh man. I wish I could do that. I just got nobody that I can talk to about it. And that's in a local vicinity. It's like I just walk up. Well, occasionally I'll have the buy my shiny metal ass. Doesn't seem that
Since
shiny.
since Bender's been gone, nobody's.
Yeah,
It's like the people asking to bite my shiny metal ass has gone down. Scruffy, can you do that? Bite my shiny metal ass. At
Scruffy.
least Scruffy's still there,
Yeah, is
even though he's
Scruffy
a zombie now.
Is Scruffy coming back? That's what I want to know.
Oh, he'll have to.
He has to.
He'll have to.
When did
He
he
was a
become a
zombie,
zombie?
so
When did he become a zombie?
who knows? He was probably a zombie for episode 1.
Yeah, because it was just like we never really had an idea of, because I was like, Scruffy's a zombie. He doesn't have
Or it
any
could have been
zombie.
when it could have been when Fry got worms, when all the pipes exploded. So
Yeah,
that's
maybe.
why aren't you fixing this? Schedule conflict.
Uh-uh.
Read needs zero G jugs.
It's like, I'm Scruffy, the janitor. I'm on break. I
I
just
love
thought,
the things that he was reading. Like National Pornographic was one of them. So
yep.
what's your job? Toilets, boilers and toilets. Plus that one boiling toilet. Fire me if you dare. Fair dues. Can he fire
Um,
Scruffy?
no. I just love Hermes. You think that now that Every have taken over Hermes, he's going to be renamed to Every?
Nah.
I hope not. I hope they don't have a copyright issue. We need to keep Hermes the way he is.
Aye.
What, and just having these just random things. I just remember when it was his wife that tried to do like that sweet Barbara of Edinburgh, whatever it was, like, not your strong suit woman. Don't know if he'd get away with saying that nowadays, but we got to try and
Ah,
give it a go.
they'll get a go.
Give us
I mean,
back our genitals.
the whole thing about this series is, since so much has happened since the last one, they're
Mm.
bringing in the streaming wars because they've got Hulu instead of Hulu. When they came back the first time, they made fun of
Yeah.
the Box network, but the sign
Yeah.
would flash, it was Fox.
Yes.
And they're doing streaming wars. Apparently they're doing things like this.
Mm. Oh, they'll have to.
The rise of podcasts since they started
Oh yeah.
has been phenomenal. So it's like they'll have to put in that. They're doing a whole COVID thing.
Yes.
So I mean it's going to be things that have happened over the past like 10 years.
Mm.
Plus we're getting Kev and Amy's children in episode 2.
Finally.
Which is 20 years since that episode aired. Because that was
Yeah.
2003 and this is 2023. And they did say they'll come out of the water in 20 years as children. So we're going to have to see that. And that's the second episode.
I know. And they'll be like, right, how's our mum and dad not aged at all? So it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, I would say that's definitely been quite a lot of discussion slash tangents about Futurama.
Always is.
Yeah. Well, I'll say I'm looking forward to it. But again, I hope they stick the landing, whatever they decide to do with it. And it's just as long as the quality is still there, I'm tuning in.
Yep, same.
Well, thank you to everybody that has watched and somehow made it to the end of this one, the animation station. We did get on a couple of tangents, but I hope you stuck with it.
Congratulations if you made it this far.
Yeah, definitely. That's what she said.
Yep.
Well, from me, Andrew Durnan, thank you very much. And pass over to other way. There we go. Got it. Go to me a second.
No, you're that way for me.
Hey, there we are.
Well, on that note, we'll leave yous, and I'm not going to say what series is going to be next, what animation I'm going to pick. I'm going to do some solo videos as well about things that I've been watching, animated stuff, and go through them. But when it'll be, we don't know. Again, we've got a lot of stuff in the works, and things are up in the air, and we're all having families and summer holidays, and kids not being out the house. So having to be parents.
Yeah, Toner's a lucky bastard.
Yes. Well, on that note, we'll leave yous and pick us up on some of our other shows. I've got Gentle Dorks. We have Raw as Ginger, if you're a wrestling fan. Andrew has his channels. Many, many, many channels.
Well, not that many anymore. We've got still Ginger Engine. Get that Metal Ginger show.
Ginger Engine.
Toner's got Lowball, Raw's Ginger. You've got Gentle Dorks and Animation Station. And if you want to see the end, it's not a three of us. My brother still has a Ginger Transformer. And yeah, feel free to check us all out. So until next time. Good night.